Good morning and welcome, everybody. Whoa, sorry, it's morning. What are you cats doing? Smokey and Tora, are you guys fighting again? Smokey Sue, the one cat wrecking crew, and Tora, who loves her adoring fans. Yeah, they think they get treats when they play fight. My eye itches. Yeah, you're bad, kitties. You're bad. No, we aren't bad. We were just made that way. I gave you guys treats and everything. Cats. Good morning, Jason, and welcome in. More cat treats, undoubtedly. Let's see if I got some here. There we are. Did you guys eat all that I already gave you? Hi, 3C. 3C's timid. There's Tutu. He's really a boy, but when he was a little kitty, I thought he was a girl, so he doesn't know the word boy. Cats don't care what you call them as long as there's food or attention involved. Wow. It is a good morning. Somebody sent me a couple items off my Amazon wish list. Hi, Wita. Welcome in. They got me a cat carrier and a brand new awesome toaster oven. Let me see if I can get them on camera. There's the cat carrier and there's the box that the toaster oven came in. Hi, Freeman, welcome in. So I got goodies yesterday. They put both of them into one box. I imagine the United Parcel guy was not thrilled that he had to carry it up to my door. And I had a devil of a time getting those things out of the box. But the spot that I originally wanted the toaster oven in just won't work because the space is too small. Oh, Ditch and Freeman and Witta and Jason, huh? Everybody's coming in this morning. Well, anyway, I'll have to make a better, safer place for the toaster oven. You see, it can't be too near to things that might catch fire, like the wall and the cupboards and, But I have a spot picked out for it where I know it will fit properly and be safe. But I ran out of steam after clearing out the space where I thought I wanted it and doing a lot of cleaning and puttering around. I was too tired to do more. So I took a nap, and the next thing I knew, it was midnight. But after a little puttering around at midnight, I went back to sleep at 1 and woke up this morning only because my phone sounded the wake-up alarm. Yeah, it's nice to get a present once in a while. The cats are finally playing with their new toys. At first, I guess they thought they weren't allowed to, and they would play with their new toys after they thought I was asleep. Well, hi, Screaming Kane. Welcome in and good morning. Ah, wow. What a day. Yeah, I've got bronchitis again, as usual. Barometric pressure, huh? Ditch woke up at 3 a.m. and made tea with blue mushrooms. Shame on you, Ditch. Well, anyway, Freeman's trying to get back onto a daylight schedule. Wow. The only reason that I want to be on a daylight schedule is that it's time to start the garden. You know, planting seeds and stuff like that. And the plants like to grow when the sun is shining. Uh, I love gardening. Uh, Otherwise, I would be a night owl again. But see, when I was younger, I didn't sleep as many hours as I do now. And that's weird because all the experts say that old people don't sleep as much or as long as young people. Well, not in my universe. On a veteran biker chat, I think that's what it was. Maybe it was some other channel on YouTube. They were discussing Social Security, and all these people made me, in the chat, made me feel that I am not alone. I just posted, yeah, I go to the church food bank once a week, and someone else chimed in, I go to 2 food banks every week. And someone else chimed in, I'd starve without the food bank. And they're all on Social Security, worked all their lives and get what would have been a good income at the time when we were working before inflation made our money so worthless. I mean, I get $700 a month. When I was working and earning about $1,000 a month if you throw in the child support and supporting a young growing boy, that was plenty of money. It wasn't wealthy, you know, but I was lower middle class. Now, forget about it. $1,000 a month won't rent you a room, let alone give you food. Ditch has an army sleep cycle, which is basically when you hear the bugle, you wake up, no matter how tired you are, no matter how sleepy. Oh, Disney. Freeman had to mention Disney. Well, they weren't satisfied with destroying Star Wars. They weren't satisfied with destroying the Marvels. Now they've destroyed Snow White. Here. Pay no attention to the clock on the wall. It needs a battery. The hands never move. Yeah, I'd love to own the House of Mouse. Well, you see, they invested all the Social Security funds in government bonds. They would have made more interest in a passbook savings account, for crying out loud. I've been watching Nerdrotic. I haven't seen Clownfish TV, but there's another channel besides Nerdrotic, and I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, apparently, Snow White isn't looking to marry a prince. She's a strong woman who takes over the kingdom. And she hangs out with a bunch of thieves. Yeah, they kind of had to put the dwarfs back in with CGI, but basically she's just starting a revolution in which the thieves lead her to victory. And I'm like, no. I'm not really thrilled with the idea that people of royal birth naturally must be our rulers, but a bunch of thieves and rioters? How are they going to make our lives better? Oh, Freeman wants to make a smarter version of Cybertruck, one that's actually useful and cheap. Like a hybrid. I don't know. I've been told that the hybrids are more likely to catch fire and be a real problem than the EVs because the hybrids have a really volatile battery and gasoline. They ruined The Hobbit too with that. I only saw Hobbit Part 1. I was so disappointed I never went to see Part 2. But it was like boring, boring, boring. You know, walk, walk, run, hide. Walk, walk, run, hide. Talk a little bit. Walk, walk, run, hide, etc. over and over. And then, oh, look, there's a dragon. The end. What kind of movie is that? Yeah, Ditch, I like stick shift cars, especially in mud or snow. They're much more maneuverable, easier to get traction. My stick shift Honda Accord saved my life once. I hit some black ice on a curve going down the mountain, and I was spinning out and headed toward the downside, like over the cliff. And I jammed that stick shift into second and caught some traction. You can't do that in an automatic. You don't hit the brakes when you're spinning out, whether you're on ice or a dry road. There are better batteries than the lithium stuff they're using, but Apparently, there's government regulations that prevent us from using them. Lita says she's seen videos of Cybertrucks being stuck in 1 inch of snow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I know you can shift to a lower gear in an automatic, but if it thinks that the revs are too high, it'll shift itself back up to a lower gear, Freeman. So I'm about to cuss. Bleep computer chips in those cars now. Finally, finally, my second cigarette of the day. And well, anyway, I'm really happy with the cat carrier. See, I have one that's made for a dog, and it's too big and bulky and awkward and heavy for me, especially to put in one cat. And I need to catch the stray cats and get them fixed. Well, I wait for my son to recommend cars. But the Honda Accord was special because when I was struggling financially and my old wreck of a car uh, gave out permanently, my dad bought this used Honda Accord from one of his neighbors and gave it to me. And I did pay him back at about $100 a month. Yeah, I mean, I could change the oil, drain the radiator, and put in new fluid and water mixture. I could change the spark plugs. I even changed the points in the distributor a couple times. Mostly on the old Maverick, but also on the Honda Accord. Not now. You can't even find the engine. You open the hood and there's this sheet of metal covering everything. And besides, it's all computer chips anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to get a furniture dolly. Where would I put it? I have limited space, Freeman. Oh, I had a gremlin once. I was desperate, and my mother bought it out of a junkyard and gave it to me. When one of my son's friends borrowed it and got in a wreck, the kid didn't have the sense to open the glove box and show the cops the insurance papers, so it was towed away and impounded. That car only cost $100. It was from a junkyard, but it did run, sort of. It would go about 90 miles on a full tank of gas because there was something really wrong with it. So, anyway, I went to the impound lot and gave him the keys, the pink slip, and $50 for the tow truck and called it even because I did not want it back. Not after it got it was already all bent in the front, and it got side, what do you call it? T-boned. Got hit on the side, ruined the passenger door and the front fender. So I didn't want it back. And they insisted I had to pay for the tow truck, but not for storage. The storage would have been rather expensive for a $900 car. I don't know. I really loved the Fiat Spider that Phil bought. It was a couple years old and cost about $1,400 and 75 or 6, I forget which. But it's where I learned how to drive a 4 on the floor. I had driven the 3 on the tree stick shifts, but I wasn't familiar with 4 on the floor. Loved that little car, but it wouldn't carry many people, and it wouldn't go very fast, and it wouldn't carry much stuff either. Basically, the trunk was the back seat. Yes, fix it again, Tony. On the other hand, Ford is found on road dead. My parents always drove Fords or Mercuries, and Mercury is a high-class Ford. Welcome in, Pio. Oh, we're just puttering around, talking about whatever. I did get nice presents. I'll put them on camera again. Off my Amazon wish list, a cat carrier and a toaster oven. This one is different. There's an actual toaster on the top of the box where you put the toast down into the toaster and pull the lever down and it toasts it. And for cooking food, it has the oven part in the front. I haven't used it yet. What, Smokey? Smokey thinks that she needs to chew on the camera. You can't have it. Okay, anyway, I read all the instructions and I'm like, they're actually in pretty good English, and they don't seem to be terribly written by someone where English is not their first language. Hi, Angus. Welcome in. Smokey Sue, get off. They jump on the back of my chair and on my back. So anyway, they're rather repetitive, like don't get it wet, don't try to move it or clean it when it's hot, stuff like that. Oh, the Yugo. Do they still make the Yugo? So a European car that... Hi, Angus. No, I don't think it's a gremlin. Don't feed it after midnight either. And don't let it into the swimming pool. If you've never seen Gremlins, you won't get that joke. Yeah, it's from the Balkans. Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Oh, Yugos were cheap, Angus. Yeah, they weren't very good, but they were cheap. Why do I always blank on the actor's name? Always, no matter who it is. let's see, cast. I think he was in The Running Man. Arnold, no, not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll bet he was in Tootsie. Let's see. Dustin Hoffman. I think he's the guy who did the early Honda commercials because the car was so small they needed a really small actor. Yugoslavia. Oh, well, Yugoslavia is not Yugo from Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is not generally considered Balkan, but sometimes it is. But the main three are Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Phil used to correspond with his editor in Estonia. Yeah, well, Yugoslavia, wasn't Tito the leader of Yugoslavia? When I was a school child, there were Skyriders, these airplanes that make words out of some kind of white powder in the air, and it was writing over and over, "Stop Tito." And apparently, Tito had no choice because Russia sent a bunch of tanks into his capital city. So he had to join the Soviet Union. Thank you, everybody. Confirming I got one right. Tito was, I don't know what they call their president, but he was the leader of Yugoslavia when the Soviets marched in. Well, you guys know a lot more about Tito than I do. Oh, I don't know. When I was teaching, somewhere in the late 90s, I think, all the colleges and university were teaching this stuff. Darned if I can remember what it's called. I have a mental block. It was basically logic, but written by and for communists. And it was actually mostly written around 1900. Or this philosophy was developed. And on the surface, it's the use of deductive reasoning and the other kind. My brain is frozen. But as you dig into it, it was basically supporting a communist philosophy. So I had to teach it, and my students, who were mostly Air Force people, just flat out asked me, what kind of philosophy is this? Oh, they called their, yeah, deduction and induction. They called their combination abduction, which is a word for, uh, you know, uh, pulling someone off the street. Abduction. So anyway, one of the Air Force people, after consulting with others, just asked me, what kind of philosophy is this? And I said, oh, it's communist. Or no, I said, oh, it's Marxist. Then why are you teaching us? Well, I wanted to say, know your enemy, but I just said, it's the cutting edge of modern philosophy, and you need to know it so it isn't owned by any one political philosophy. The Miracle of Abduction by Somebody Williams was the book. Let me see. I have a copy of it somewhere, but I can't find it. The Miracle of Abduction, Williams. Yeah. Applied. Oh, William J. Williams. There's a copy on eBay. See how much he wants for it. $20. There's another book that